Hey, I have surpassed 10,000 followers, subscribers on YouTube, which, of course, this sounds like the obligatory cliche thing to say, but I really did not anticipate happening, and I certainly didn't anticipate it happening in the short timeline that it did happen in. So this video, to commemorate my 10K sub milestone, is going to be about the pros and cons of having a reselling YouTube channel and my elevator pitch that will probably be 25 minutes long, very long elevator ride, about why it's probably a good idea for you to start a YouTube channel if you're at all curious or if you've been thinking about it. Let's rewind, let's go back in time a little bit to when I started the channel. So I started the channel because I've been watching YouTube for so long. I've gotten so much from it, so much good information offered for free, that I felt that I wanted to contribute something, and so I started the channel. I just shot a couple little videos on this camera, just kind of set it up, aimed it at my face, and started up. Made some haul videos, posted the first big haul video to my Facebook page with this disclaimer of like, I'm so sorry that I'm a YouTuber now, but I am, or trying to be, so if this is interesting to you, take a look. And I had a bunch of friends that, you know, from previous chapters of life who had no vested interest, like no experience with eBay, they weren't resellers, they knew nothing about clothing, who would watch the videos and tell me like that it was captivating to them for some reason, which was bizarre to me. They liked, it was almost an ASMR thing, they liked seeing the tags and hearing me talk about the clothing. And so I kept putting the videos out periodically, and I just gradually kind of accumulated a little bit of a following. I got up above 100 subscribers, I got to 200, and for about a year and a half, 2 years, it was just an incremental, slow, steady climb to about 700 subs, and I thought that's basically where I was going to stick. I thought it was going to keep continuing on that trajectory, and I would be, you know, a little niche, tiny little niche channel, which, you know, I kind of still am in the grand scheme of YouTube. But I thought I would have maybe max, you know, 1,500 subscribers, 2,000 subscribers after another couple years, and I would just have a little community of people that I could communicate with on YouTube. And I was perfectly content with that happening. And then I wanted to get up above the 1,000 subscriber mark, so I started putting out videos every third day. And the third or fourth video that I put out on that regular schedule was the video that blew up, the 20 best-selling men's clothing brands, that went from 0 to I don't know how many thousands of views in a couple of days. Algorithm picked it up, algorithm picked my channel up, and I went from 700 subs to 2,000 subs in the course of 48 or 72 hours. This huge spike. And I've been on that trajectory since, and it's not exponential, but it continues to be linear, but at a steeper incline. And I got to 10K subs in what feels subjectively like a blink of the eye. And now my life is radically different. I wasn't intending to monetize the channel at first, but Tommy Bernhard pointed out to me, he has a great show, by the way, you should check out. It's like a radio, like a reselling talk show. It's Tommy and Tracy, they have a great show. So they pointed out to me that YouTube apparently now monetizes your channel regardless of if you monetize it or not, and then they keep all the money. So I said, okay, I'll monetize the channel. And now it's a substantial source of income for me. It, I think, is responsible for me being able to rent this place I'm at now, despite not having any real paychecks to show. I published the Menswear Manifesto. That was a big success. If I didn't have the YouTube platform, that wouldn't have ever happened or gotten off the ground. So overall, it's been a massive net positive for me. And I see no reason to stop doing it. So, from pretty humble beginnings and basically no production value, certainly not at the beginning, I do kind of a minimum of editing still. I just have a camera, I have Final Cut, and together they mean videos. I don't really game any of the metrics. I don't know a whole lot about YouTube. I don't know that much about how to drive traffic or views. My thumbnails are probably kind of like not in keeping with best practices for YouTube. I just kind of talk into a camera and put it out on the internet, and I've done that from the beginning, and it seems to work. It's relatively low effort. So, point being, if you feel like you're just some person and you don't feel like anybody would really want to listen to you or watch you on YouTube, I pretty much felt the same way. I had a little bit of a unique perspective, I thought, in this kind of high sell-through approach to doing clothing. It's kind of a unique angle. But even short of that, I don't think that you need to have any kind of groundbreaking insights. Not that that was particularly groundbreaking necessarily, but you don't need to have anything especially unique to offer other than your experience as a reseller, regardless of your experience level. If you're a brand new reseller and you started a YouTube channel under the auspices of, I'm brand new, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm constantly making mistakes, watch me make these mistakes, and share in the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat with me, I would watch that. Plenty of people would watch that. So, obviously, I'm going to come back around to my general thesis statement that it's a good idea for you to start a YouTube channel. It does come with some negatives. The one big negative is once you do build up a head of steam, if this becomes, certainly if it becomes an income source, you have to deal with a couple things. One is it's time consuming. Making these videos, editing the videos, exporting the videos, uploading them, making the thumbnail, making the description, and responding to comments, which I'm not always great at. Sorry. Very time consuming. It takes a surprise. I mean, everything in life takes more time than you think it will. YouTube is no different. So you have to get something out of it. And even before I started making money at it, I got out of it something intangible. I just liked doing it. So if you like doing it for the sake of doing it, and you like communicating with people on the internet, then it's worth it. But it does take up a big chunk of time and energy to do it. The other con is once you do start monetizing, the temptation becomes stronger and stronger to focus on it at the expense of other parts of your life, specifically at the expense of your reselling business. And this is inevitable. I know that this is the big pitfall with YouTube, and I try really hard not to fall into it. But you also have to maintain the health of your, you don't have to, but it's good to maintain the health of your channel, have semi-regular uploads, because your views just plummet after you publish a video for the first time. You get like a 24-hour kind of hangover where people are still watching, the algorithm is pushing the video out to people, and then it just, it drops you like a kettlebell. You just plummet back down kind of to baseline. And you cannot help but kind of get Pavlovianly, is a word I hope, trained to want to get the hits. It's just human nature. So the temptation becomes strong to dedicate even more time to it and to see it as an income source more than kind of this means of communication or whatever, however else you want to portray it. There is another con that goes with one of the benefits. So I'll talk about them both together. One of the big benefits is that you have kind of a hive mind to draw from. You have people of all experience levels with reselling who are willing to give you feedback, whether solicited or unsolicited, about your business practices and your decisions. You will get people watching your channel who are way more experienced than you and have a very different perspective than you. And usually this is a really good thing. Actually, I credit this YouTube channel, even the early videos, with a lot of, with giving me a lot of really helpful, constructive advice and pointing out things that I was doing wrong or things that I could do better. And this is invaluable. This is the equivalent of hiring a consultant if you were a new business to come in and audit your business, except you get it for free and you get it from multiple people from multiple perspectives. Of course, these people aren't necessarily credentialed. They don't have diplomas, and you have to be a little bit skeptical, but for the most part, people will offer you, for the most part, constructive, helpful, friendly suggestions for things that you're missing, things that you do wrong, or ways that you could take your business that will bring you more money and save you some time. It's one of the best things about YouTube, especially because you can just directly ask a question and it will come back to you. The answer will come back to you through the ether in your comment sections. And I've done that a lot. I've just, if you find some weird shirt, you can hold it up and say, what the hell is this? And somebody will know. Somebody will know, or if you misspeak, you call it by the wrong name, someone will correct you. You do have to put your ego on pause a little bit, which is a skill that is learned over time, I've found. It's pretty easy to get defensive because you can't hear tonality over the internet. So it takes a little bit of emotional discipline to take the notes. The flip side of that is periodically you will put out a video saying, here's what I'm doing right now, this is what's getting me results, this is how I'm running my business. It's not the only way to run your business, but here's a suggestion for how you can do X, Y, and Z. And over the hill, here comes this guy, here comes, it takes two forms in my experience. The first is just outright, just dicks, just people who are hostile, dismissive of you, saying, you don't know what the hell you're doing, you effing YouTube amateurs, you're ruining it for all the real resellers, you're a clown, blah blah. This happens maybe once every couple months. You'll get somebody who's just outright hostile, or at least I do. That kind of comes with the territory. And you know, I don't know, the thing to say, the thing that people say to sound macho is, oh, it's just funny to me, it rolls off my back, it's just amusing to me that people are that small-minded. It hurts, it bothers you for a bit, it bothers me for a bit, it gets under my skin, I'm not immune to it, it pisses me off. The other form of it is these blowhard know-it-all people who will come into your comments and leave you a 10-page essay about how your business practices are fundamentally wrong because me and my wife have been selling on eBay for 500 years and we would never offer free shipping. You'll get a dissertation about how big of an idiot you are, and sometimes that's offered with your best interest in mind. A lot of the times it isn't. It's just somebody flexing nuts on you and trying to be the big dog. Because they don't have any videos, you have videos, they think they're a better reseller than you, and they have to show the world. And that also doesn't happen that much. It happens on some level, I would say maybe once a month to me. I get some unsolicited, dismissive thing, overly critical thing in the comments. I will say sometimes it is helpful. Even some of the hostile comments, they'll make some wild ass claim about how your math is way off or how you're doing something completely idiotically wrong. And even though they're wrong, it forces you to double check your work and make sure that they're wrong. And that's also helpful in a way. Sometimes it's not helpful at all. Sometimes people are just assholes, but sometimes, occasionally, they're accidentally useful assholes because they'll force you to defend your positions to yourself and make sure that they're sound ones. So those are the big cons. The big pros, and there are a lot of them. I may forget something. Like I said, one of the big pros is you can just workshop stuff with people. If you have questions and you're willing to, you know, be open to criticism, good criticism, then steel will sharpen steel, and it'll make your business better. People will point out mistakes, like I said. which will save you a lot of money in the long run. Also, once you monetize the channel, if you upload videos regularly, it helps defray the costs of running your business. For example, now, if I post a haul video, it'll typically earn me around 40 or 50 bucks. Which means if I have a small haul, if I make a haul video, it pays for the haul. If I had a $25, $30 haul and I made a video that 5,000 people watched, it's a free haul. Even bigger hauls, that certainly helps reduce the cost per item of the haul. So it might knock a buck or two off of the cost of goods for each item. Another benefit is if you have a large following and you're willing to publicize your stores, then people will buy stuff from your stores. I don't think it's a whole lot, but it will improve your overall sales on eBay and Poshmark, wherever it is that you sell. I choose not to publicize my stores, but if you do, then you will generate sales off of your YouTube. This segues into another point, which is once you have a platform, you will be in a position to market digital products to that platform if you want. This is pretty controversial. A lot of the old guard of YouTube really frown upon people selling digital products, training courses, having Patreon pages, which is understandable. I guess the cycle is people show up, they blow up, they monetize, they sell some kind of product, they get a gob of cash, and then they kind of run out of things to talk about, or they get the money and run. And so this is symptomatic of kind of a fly-by-night culture of reselling expertise on the internet. I do sell a digital product. It's the Menswear Manifesto, which Tommy Bernhardt, again, recommended I make free, just give out for free, and he said the benefits would come back to me 100-fold, and he was dead on the money. So I made my digital product free, or pay what you want. It's donation based. People were extraordinarily generous. I was amazed by how many people chose to actually pay me for the thing, and thank you very much. So that's how I've monetized the platform. You do want to be careful because you don't want to be in a position where you're seeing your viewers as marks. You can't forget the perspective that you're trying to provide a service to others, you're trying to be helpful, you're trying to make other people money so that you will be remunerated in tangible and intangible ways, which I think is the best way to do it. So it's hard to talk about, but the option is there if you want to sell something. And in terms of intangible benefits, it's simply nice to know that there are 10,000 human beings who care about what you say enough to listen to you on a recurring basis. That's like astonishing. And it's, funnily enough, an easy fact of life to forget once you find yourself in that position. I have to remind myself that I have that big of an audience from time to time, because in your everyday life you still just, you feel like some dickhead. Which is probably healthy. It's probably just to live your life feeling like some dickhead or other. But it's just nice. Another benefit, now that I'm thinking of it, is that people will reach out to you with business opportunities that you wouldn't have known about, wouldn't have been available to you otherwise. And I think this happens to other YouTubers a little bit more than me. I think once you hit a certain size, people really start knocking on your door in terms of wholesale buys or like real hardcore business relationships. And I'm not talking about channel sponsors. I mean local people, local resellers, local businesses wanting to offload large quantities of inventory to you, or giving you privileged access to sourcing opportunities before the general public. I've gotten a couple of these. One of them was based off of just a personal relationship that I had with someone that worked at a thrift store. But I do periodically get emails from people who are testing the waters with trying to sell off old inventory of theirs on the cheap. And I've had a couple offers. It hasn't worked out, but the potential is definitely there. And I've heard from other bigger channels that happens a lot once you hit a certain level. Another benefit is people recognize you. I made a very good friend, Dave, who I've talked about a couple of times, off of this channel, and it was way before the channel blew up. I only had like 600 or 700 subs at the time, and I got recognized out at a thrift store, and we became friends, and we were such close friends so quickly that we actually were planning to start a business together. We both independently had this notion of starting a reselling cooperative, an employee-owned reselling business, so that we could scale together without having to have employees. And we would kind of run this experiment and grow that way. I still think it's a phenomenal idea. He ended up having to move out of state because his wife got a job elsewhere, so it didn't work out. But that was a huge windfall, just because it was nice to have a pal, and is nice to have a pal, and also because had that actually come to fruition, that's an opportunity that would not have been available to me at all. I never would have met Dave if it hadn't have been for the channel. So you never know exactly what doors something like this is going to open. I will also say another benefit, I think, and this is speculation, is it provides a safety net. There may come a day when I am wearing a big barrel around my waist with suspender straps on and I'm in dire straits. And my hope is that out of the 10,000 of you, there may be 1 or 2 of you who would be willing to give me a job or give me a place to live if something really bad were to happen and I didn't have recourse. And that's another thing that really kind of elevates your sense of well-being. Knowing that you have paid forward a lot of help to a lot of people, and it not being unreasonable to ask some small favor at some point when you if you really need it. I don't anticipate that happening, but that kind of goes hand in hand with what I was talking about before with meeting Dave. At some point, someone may offer me like a once-in-a-lifetime career opportunity that would not be available to anybody else, or something. I'm not counting on that happening, but it's a possibility. Once you hit a certain level of visibility to strangers, I just think, I have to think that it makes you a little bit safer in the long term on a number of levels. One more benefit of having a YouTube channel that is successful is if you decide to start another YouTube channel, you greatly accelerate the process of starting that channel up. So you could say, for example, something like, I have a second channel called Book Pilled, talking about books that I read, reviewing books, doing book hauls with a heavy emphasis on science fiction literature. Hypothetically, I could put a link to that channel in the description and entreat you, if you're interested in books, to go watch those videos as well. That Book Pill channel I got from 0 to 400 subs in a fraction of the time it took me to get this channel from 0 to 400. So those are kind of the broad strokes. If you have been interested in starting a YouTube channel, if you're curious about it, I would say that you should give it a chance. Just upload some shit video like I did. My first videos were pretty bad, if you go back and watch the really early ones. If you're, like, there are reasonable reasons not to do it. Like if you're really just a private person, if you don't want to have your face and voice in front of a lot of people or even a few people, it's totally reasonable. That's like a reasonable, normal human instinct. If you just don't want to be involved in the lives of strangers, understandable. If you just have no real inherent interest in doing it, then you don't have to do it. I mean, probably the majority of the big successful resellers in the world don't have a channel. And that's another thing I want to say too. I'm not, and I hope that I've never portrayed myself to be this huge success story. Like, there are plenty of people on YouTube that make way more money reselling than I do. There are people who are more talented than me, who drive much nicer cars than me off of reselling. I don't want to portray myself as some expert or authority outside of like a really specific piece of domain expertise in terms of men's clothing from a specific perspective. But that hasn't stopped me from being useful to people, and it shouldn't stop you. Like I said, even if you know nothing at all about reselling, it will still be educational and entertaining to people to watch you know nothing about reselling. Also, if you're just simply shy, if you feel like you just have stage fright and you don't want to be in the spotlight, or that freaks you out, but it's something that on paper you want to do, the way that I think about it is, in reality, yes, many thousands of people are going to watch this video, but you're not a member of an audience. You're one person. This video is being made for one person, or maybe a couple of people if you're watching it with someone else or with a kid, which I don't recommend doing, by the way. But this is really just me talking to you, to someone on the other end of a phone or a computer screen, probably in private or on a bus somewhere. It's not like I'm getting up in front of 10,000 people in an auditorium and speaking. And it's this weird middle ground where it's just, there are many other people who are having this same experience as you, the same weird one-on-one virtual friendship experience as you are. But if you think about it in that way, it really cuts out the hard edge of stage fright, because there's no stage. You're just talking to someone. I will also say, if you upload your first video, if you start a channel, this does not go for established channels, I'm sorry. If you start a brand new channel, you upload your first video or a couple of videos, and you leave a comment on this video, I will post a link to the video or to your channel in the description of the video. I'm not gonna make a video endorsing your channel, I'm very sorry, but I will leave a breadcrumb trail to people who are curious. If this is your first flight out of the nest, I will give you a little bit of a soft landing and get you some views by putting a link in the description to this video. This offer is probably going to expire in like a week and a half or 2 weeks, or whenever it is I stop checking the comments on this video. So act now. I will wrap the video by saying, once again, thanks for paying attention to me. I genuinely am pretty flattered and grateful for it, and I wish for you the same success that I have accidentally enjoyed with this channel and whatever it is that you're doing. I hope that you get a big win like I got with this thing that I'm doing with YouTube. So thanks for watching, as always.